Hi everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we'll be completing in today's video. All these fun fruit icons. So we will use Symmetry and smart shapes and stuff to draw all of our black lines first, and then we'll fill them in and color them and add the highlights and the details. So super simple. We use just the one brush, the monoline brush for everything. If you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want even more tutorials, I am now on Patreon, offering extra exclusive Procreate tutorials that you can do with me over there. I have some awesome drawings coming up. I have that linked in the description below, so go ahead and check that out and sign up if you'd like to join. But before we get started, make sure that you download the color palette. I have it linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. Just open up the file that downloads and it'll automatically pop into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. I will also post the canvas dimensions, color profile, and layers needed on the screen and in the description below so that you can use those to set up your canvas. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we will get started. Okay, this is the color palette that we have. So we have our white and our black on the top, which is just for our lines and details. Then I grouped everything else by their fruit. So we have the lemon colors first, then the orange, then the apple, and then the pear. The first color of each set is also our background colors. So our yellow, our orange, our red, and our green, the first one in each little set of colors. Those are what we're going to use for our different squares. So that being said, let's just go ahead and get started. So we're actually first going to set our background to our lemon color, our bright yellow. So to do that, we're going to open up our layer menu, click on this background color layer at the very bottom to open up the selector for that, and grab our first yellow color on the second row there to just fill the entire thing in. Then we can make our white lines and then fill in the other squares with their colors. So to make our white lines, we are going to be on layer 1. We are going to grab our white color, the first one on the top row, and we are going to be on our monoline brush at 100%. And then to get a perfect set of squares, we are going to turn on Symmetry. So to do that, we are going to go to the gear icon in the top left. Under Canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide. Click Edit Drawing Guide, and then select this Symmetry option. And then we are going to actually change the symmetry from vertical, which it defaults to quadrant symmetry. So that's under the options down here. So go ahead and set it to that and then go ahead and click done. And then the main thing is we just need to make sure that this layer that we're on now says assisted. If it does not, click on it and turn on drawing assist. But now that is all set up, we can make our little cross lines. So we'll first just draw straight down the center line, going all the way from the top down off the bottom. Even though Symmetry is turned on and we could have only went halfway, let's just go all the way top to bottom for the heck of it. Hold it down until it turns into a perfectly straight line, and then touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. And then once it's set to perfectly vertical, just click this edit button on the top and then we can move it around. So we just kind of want to bring them together so we get a decently thick line in the middle here, like so. So there's no gap in between like this or anything, but you don't have to overlap them completely, just maybe like about right here. And then we're just going to do the same thing horizontally. So grab your pen again, write it all the way across the screen, left to right, going off both sides. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal, and then click the line button at the top and move it around. So again, no gap, but maybe not completely overlapping, maybe a little bit thicker than that, about right there, so it kind of matches our first vertical line. Okay, go ahead and grab our brush tool now again to turn that off, and now we can fill in our different sections with different color. So in order to get our squares filled in, let's go to our layer menu, click on this layer with our white lines on it and set it to a reference layer. Add a new layer and then drag it below our white cross layer. So then we're going to be on this layer 2, and this is where we're going to fill in our different square colors. So the first square is actually yellow, so that's why we set the background to that color. 1 so that we could see our white lines, and then 2 so that that one's just already filled in, so we don't need to fill that one in again. We are just going to go ahead and fill in this next one. And the second one is going to be our orange color. So grab our first orange color in our section here. It's the 5th one on the second row. And go ahead and drag and drop that onto your right square there. Okay, then we're going to grab our red color, the first one on the last row of our color palette, and drag and drop that into the bottom left square. And then finally our green color, the first one in our next section of greens. So not this green that's with our reds. That's the green for the leaf of the apple. But this next green after our little space here. So it's the 7th one in line. And drag and drop that onto our last bottom right square. And those are all of our background colors done. Now we are ready to move on to drawing our first fruit, which is going to be our orange slices in this top left yellow corner. So to get started on that, we're just going to go to our layer menu, add a new layer on the top of all of our layers. Grab our black color for the lines, which we'll draw first. So the second color on the top row is our black. And then we're still going to use the monoline brush, but we are going to change the size. So it's set to 100% right now, like we had it, but that's just a little bit too thick for our lines. So I'm going to drop mine about to 65%. So go ahead and change your size, make sure that works for you. If not, adjust it as you need to. And then to get our orange slices started, I'm just going to be in the top left corner here and draw a perfect circle. So we'll just draw a circular shape, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle, and then we can set our size. So you can either set your size here while you're still have your brush held down, or if you let your brush go ahead and just click the circle button at the top, and then you can adjust the size. Just make sure to touch in between 2 of the blue dots and not on one of them. If you drag on one of them, it'll switch you more to like an oval shape. We want to be a circle, so just touch in between 2 of the blue dots, you will be able to adjust the size. So we wanted a decent size here to take up a good amount of room. I've kind of got mine like more towards the bottom right of the circle here, and then we'll have a little bit of a second slice peeking out from behind it. So I think that looks like a pretty good size there. Okay, and then to draw our orange slices that you can see inside, we're going to use Symmetry, but we're going to switch to Radial Symmetry so that we only need to draw inside once and it'll duplicate it all the way around the circle. So to do that, we are first going to just change our Symmetry option under the gear icon. Click to edit the drawing guide since it's already turned on. Symmetry is selected already, but then under options, we're just going to switch to Radial. And then we're just going to leave it in the center of the screen here. You could, if you wanted to, move this, you can always move this around and like put it up here, but it's just hard to know for sure that it's centered. So that's why I'm just going to leave it in the center where it goes by default. And then we'll center our circle on it so that we know that they're lined up perfectly. So go ahead and set it to radial, click done. Go back to our layer menu on our circle layer here, click on it and turn on Drawing Assist so the symmetry is turned on, and then we are going to center it now. So we'll just click our arrow tool, make sure that snapping is turned on in the bottom left, and then we will just drag it to the center of our screen where we see both the yellow lines pop up. So you'll see a vertical line and a horizontal line. That means that we are directly in the center of the canvas. Okay, and then essentially each one of these 8 sections is going to have a slice in it. So I'm just going to start on this like top right slice. So I'm just going to start a little ways out from the center here, just kind of right in the middle. And I'm just going to draw a straight line, kind of following my vertical line here. Pretty close to vertical, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it is a little too close on the bottom down here. I want just a little bit more space there, so I'm just going to click edit and I am just going to shorten it a little bit right there so that it maybe starts right about there. That's a little bit better in terms of space in the middle. Okay, then we'll grab our brush tool again, start at that same point right here and draw a line going the other way toward like kind of in sync with this other line right here. Try to make it the same distance from the top, so we left a little bit of room at the top there to make our curve and then still have like a good amount of our orange rind around. So then go ahead and let that go, but if you need to adjust it, you can always click the line button at the top. But now from here, I'm just going to make a curved line connecting the two. Hold that down as well to make it a perfectly smooth curved line. Click this arc button that pops up at the top and just make sure that the ends meet up nicely, and then the curve, we just want it to be a little curve. We want to essentially match it with our circle here, so we don't want it to be like this. That doesn't really match. You know, it's way more curved. We want it to be a little more shallow so that it's almost like if you drew a circle all the way around this, you know, that's how it would kind of look. Okay, and that is our orange slice now. So now we're going to go to our layer menu, click on this layer and turn off drawing assist now, so that is no longer active on this layer. Go ahead and click our arrow tool and we will just move it back up into our circle here. So just place it kind of more towards the bottom right of the center, still leaving a good amount of room all the way around on the edges, but right about here so we have room for our second slice behind it. Okay, then I am simply going to add a few dots around the side here, just as little accents. Just the 3 dots there, like so. And then we'll add more details in a little bit, but now with our dots laid down, that's it for all of our black lines. So now we'll go to our layer menu. We'll make a duplicate of this orange slice. So slide to the left and hit duplicate. Select the one on the bottom. Click the arrow tool, and then we'll move it up and to the left a little bit so that we can see it sticking out. Then we'll go ahead and turn it a little bit just so that our dots are like maybe more on this other side. Something about right there. It's a little closer to the left side than I would like, but I think I'm just going to move this other one as well. So then I'll grab my other one. I will move it to the right a little bit just so that we can see a little bit more of our second one. So maybe right about there. If yours ended up getting way too big and you can't see this one as much as you would like, you can always go to your layer menu, make sure that both layers are selected. So this top one is selected, slide right on the second one, click your arrow tool, make sure it's set to uniform, and then you can downsize them all at once and move them around. I'm going to leave mine where they were, but now essentially we need to erase a good amount of this back one so that our lines aren't overlapping like this. So let's just be on our back orange slice, grab our eraser tool. I always have mine set to the monoline brush. We'll set it to about 100%. And I'm just going to start erasing right where this circle of my front orange slice is. So I'm just going to start erasing right there, not going over like I did right there. So we don't want to touch any of our shape that's outside. Okay, and then just keep erasing all of this stuff in here. If you need to, if it's easier, which it probably is, go ahead and turn off this top orange slice layer. So on our layer menu, just uncheck that one. And now we can see everything else that we need to erase a lot easier without that one showing. So erase every little bit of it. Then let's turn on our other layer again. And then we are going to sync the 2 layers together so that they're all on one layer. So just snap them together with your fingers like so. And that is our orange slices outline. So then again, if you need to do any resizing, you can just click your arrow tool now with them all together on uniform and adjust them a little bit. I make mine just a smidge smaller and kind of center them in this top left square. And then now while we're here, we'll just go ahead and color it in as well. Okay, and then to color them in, we are going to do a similar thing that we did with our white cross, where we are going to now set this black line layer as a reference layer. So click on it and set it to reference, click to add a new layer, drag it behind our black lines, and this is the layer that we'll do all of our coloring on. So then these 4 colors here are our orange colors. So we'll just start with our first orange color on the second row, so it's the 5th one in line. This will be our main orange color, so this is going to go on the main parts of our orange slices. So let's just go ahead and drag and drop it into that first area there. Go ahead and drag and drop it into the second area in the back there. Then our lines just act as borders, almost like a coloring page. Okay, then for our little orange slices that we see, that is going to be this third orange color in our set of orange colors. So the 8th one in line, it's kind of a more yellowy orange. And we are going to drag and drop that into one and then click continue filling at the top. Or if you miss it, go ahead and drag another one, then click continue filling. And then you can just tap into each of these to fill them in. Tap into the ones in the back. This one down here is completely filled in with black, but you might have like some more slivers than I do or less slivers, that's okay. Okay, then we'll switch back to our brush and we are going to stay on the same layer, but now we're going to add some highlights to it. So we are going to click on this layer on our layer menu and turn on alpha lock so that we only color within the orange colors that we've laid down so far. We'll grab our second orange color in our set of orange colors, the 6th one on the second row, right next to our main orange color. And this will be our highlight color, so I am just going to, with my monoline brush at 65%, I am just going to kind of go around the top and add a little curved highlight to our orange slices. So one right there, another one here. Go ahead and lower your brush size though if you need to. I'm just going to kind of have them taper off on the ends here, so I just get closer to my black line until it kind of fades all the way off. But then see, I got like a little bit on this one behind it, so I'm just going to hold my finger there to grab that orange color again and then go back over it. Then I'll grab my highlight color again. And maybe we'll just have another little highlight on the right side here. And then the trick is just to draw pretty quickly to get a nice smooth line, or you can always like draw your arc, hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth, and then edit at the top, and you can use that as your nice like curved highlight line. Whatever works for you. Okay, and then lastly, we're just going to add some little details to our little orange slices, and that's going to be with our last orange color. So the 4th one in our orange group, the 8th one on the second row. Same monoline brush, but we'll drop the size further to maybe 20. And we are just going to draw some little lines in each of these little sections, going the same direction as they are. So kind of like vertically inside them. They don't have to be perfect, but we're just going to go all the way around doing this. And then same thing on the back, except that like they might like run into our next black line, and that's okay. So something like that, just to add a little more detail and texture to them. Okay, and then that is it for our orange slices. Next, we're going to move on to our apple, and that is going to be in our top right square. So we're just going to do a very similar process. So let's add a new layer on the top of all of our layers. Switch back to our black color, the second one on the top row. Same monoline brush, but we will increase the size back up to 65% again, or whatever you were using for your lines before. Okay, we're going to use Symmetry again, but this time I will move the Symmetry line. We won't draw it in the middle like we did before. That worked really well for our orange slices, but it's not going to work the same. So we'll go to our gear icon under Drawing Guide, click to edit the drawing guide, under Symmetry, click Vertical Symmetry, and then move the line to the right until we're roughly in the center of this orange square here. So it's not as difficult as last time, we just need to be roughly in the center. We'll draw our apple with Symmetry and then we'll be done. If we draw something just like in the middle and then we have to downsize it a bunch to get it into our square, the line thickness won't be the same with all of our other shapes, and that's what we're going for, is a very uniform look to them. So that's why we're just kind of drawing everything inside its square. So now we're on this new layer. Go ahead and click on it and turn on Drawing Assist so that we can use Symmetry. And we are just going to draw the shape of our apple. So we're going to draw the right side, it'll duplicate for the left. We want to leave a good amount of room on the top here for the leaf and the stem. So I'm going to start maybe like a third of the way down this square here. So right about here, Draw a nice curved line coming back to the center like so. Hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth. And then go ahead and click edit and we can make some adjustments. So I'll bring them in a little bit further. Something about like this. So it should be a little wider at the top and a little closer together at the bottom. And it's okay if they overlap in the center and stuff here. We will adjust them. Okay, go ahead and grab our eraser tool now, also set to the monoline brush. I'll drop the size of my eraser to maybe 50%. Okay, and then we're just going to erase these things in the center till they come to like a point. Like so. And you can even round it a little just to kind of go with our other shapes. We can kind of round it right there. And then we'll do the same thing on the bottom. Okay, I'll grab my arrow tool on uniform, just drag it down maybe a little bit. Kind of center it in my square here, even if it's not on my symmetry line, we're done with the symmetry line. So let's go ahead and go to our layer menu, click on this layer and click to turn off drawing assist. Grab our brush again, and now we will draw our stem and our leaf. So we will first draw our stem, so that's going to come straight out of this top area. I'll draw a curved line going up and to the right, hold it down till it turns perfectly smooth. Make a straight line on the side there, so another line, hold it down till it turns perfectly straight, just a really short one, kind of at an angle. Click the line button at the top if you need to make any adjustments to either make it line up nicely with our point at the top here, or if you need to change the length or angle of it. Grab our brush tool again, starting at this point now, we'll make another curved line going back to the center. Hold that down till it turns perfectly smooth. Click edit at the top if you need to make any adjustments. So I'm going to adjust kind of where it comes together and the angle a little bit, but that's our stem. And we're going to make our leaf. That's going to be another very simple shape. So coming off the left side here, kind of right out of this same area, make a curved line going out up and to the left, hold it down till it turns perfectly smooth. Click edit to make adjustments. So I'm just going to move it over here a little bit. Like so. Grab my brush tool again. Go ahead and make a curved line coming back down, and then I'm just going to stop it where the top of my apple is, so it kind of looks like it's going behind it there, so it kind of gives the illusion that it's bigger rather than us having the line come all the way back down to the beginning. So we'll just kind of leave it there, edit it if you need to, and that is our leaf and our stem. And then lastly, we'll just add one small black detail to the side here. I'll just make a nice curved line going down the side, hold it down till it turns perfectly smooth. Click edit so that we can adjust it so it kind of matches up with the shape of our original outline. Grab my brush again, and then maybe I'll make just one little dot on the end as well. And then we'll add the tiniest detail to our leaf. So we are going to draw just a straight line through the center of it, not touching anything, and then just a line coming off, holding it down as we go. Hold that one down, hold the other one down. Another one like right there, little tiny one. Click edit if you need to adjust them. And that is it for our apple. That's it for all the black lines. So now, essentially, I'm going to zoom out, make sure it looks similar to my orange slices in size. And it does. I might just lower it the teeniest bit. But again, this is where it's like we don't want to have to be doing too much resizing, otherwise our lines will get really, really thin on this one compared to our original one, and we don't want that. So that looks pretty good. Just kind of roughly center it in your square there, and then again, go to our layer menu, this black outline layer for our apple, click on it and set it to a reference layer. Add a new layer, drag it below our reference layer, and now we'll start filling in our colors. So firstly, our bright red color, so the first color on our last row of the color palette, that's our main apple color. So go ahead and fill in our main apple shape with that color. Then we also have our brown and our green for our stem and our leaf down here. So let's grab the brown, so the fourth color on the last row. fill in our stem, grab our green color, the 5th color on the last row, still in line with our apple colors, and fill in our leaf. Okay, so that's all of our base colors. So now we're going to go to our layer menu, click on this layer with all of our colors on it, and set it to alpha lock so that we can start adding our highlights and stuff. So our highlight color is the 2nd color on the bottom row, right next to our main color. And same monoline brush at 65%, and I am just going to add a nice round highlight on the top left area here, like so. Again, if you end up drawing and you go into like your next color, go ahead and just grab that color and fill in over it again, like so. Okay, we're going to make the typical like apple shiny highlight in the top right corner here. So it's going to be similar to like our stem that we made. So we're going to make like just a straight line at an angle, kind of hold that down, a curved line going down like this, hold that down, another curved line to meet up with it, hold that down, and then fill it in between. That's like kind of a very standard apple highlight there. I might make a similar one down here. Like so. Okay, and then that's it for our highlights. Then we're going to do a similar thing that we did in our orange slices over here. So we're going to grab this darker red, the 3rd one on the bottom row, and we're going to drop our brush size down to like 20%. And we're just going to make some kind of texture lines all over our apple. So just kind of really quick little lines, just kind of in sections. They don't have to be perfectly vertical. They can kind of like go with the shape of our apple. I'm not putting them where the highlights are, just kind of everywhere else. Just kind of filling out our shape like so. So just to add like a little texture to our apple there. And then that is it for the apple. So next up is the pear. So again, we'll just continue to do the same thing. So we'll go to our layer menu, add a new layer at the very top, switch back to our black color, same brush, but increase to 65% again. Okay, the pear is a very interesting shape to draw. So we're going to essentially draw 2 circles, and then we are going to erase parts of them and then connect them with like a curved line to get our pear shape. Okay, we'll first draw the circle for the bottom. So draw a circular shape, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make a perfect circle. Roughly about this size, I would say. Do any adjusting if you need to though, again, with your size. Roughly in the center down here is fine, with a little gap on the bottom, like so. Then we're going to go to our layer menu, add a new layer right above this one, and draw another circle on it, smaller now at the top. So draw a circle, hold it down. Just kind of make sure it's placed about there where you like it. So then essentially we'll have like a curved line going right in here to connect them. So this looks pretty good like size-wise and stuff. I'm going to have to downsize the whole thing a little bit to make room for the stem on the top, but that's okay. Looks good so far. So then just click your arrow tool and drag this top circle around until you see it snap with our bottom circle, where you see this blue vertical line. And like right here, I'm getting a blue vertical line, but it goes up to my orange slices, like it's centering with that. We want the vertical line that goes through our bottom circle here to show that those are centering with each other. So then let's go ahead and get these on the same layer. So on our layer menu, just snap our 2 circle layers together there at the top so that they're on the same layer. Then to kind of get rid of the middle part so that we can connect them with a smooth curved line, we're going to grab our selection tool. We are going to set it to rectangle, make sure color fill is turned off. And we are going to start roughly halfway through our top circle here. So I'm going to start a ways out, so I'm outside of this circle. So right about here though, like straight out from the left side of the center of this top circle. Start there, start drawing across. So we want to cover the entire like bottom half of this top circle. Then we'll go about maybe a third of the way in to our bottom circle, like so, to cover that. So just this whole little middle section here. Let that go to select it, click your arrow tool, and drag it off the screen. So this is what we are left with. Okay, don't do any resizing or anything yet. Go ahead and add a new layer on top of this one just so we can make adjustments separately if we need to. So this is where we're going to draw our lines. So then just zoom in and just make sure your size looks good. So if you start drawing, you want it to essentially cover this whole thing pretty seamlessly. I have the teeniest little smidge that's like almost as if this circle's a little bit bigger than I want it to be. So I'm just going to increase my size a teeny bit to maybe like 70. That looks better. So there's just the teeny bit of like edges sticking out here, but I can smooth that out with an eraser later. So that looks good. So adjust your size if you need to. And then we're just going to draw a nice smooth line from here to here, just curving in just slightly to then curve back out and meet this other one. So I did that really quickly and it's not perfect, but that's okay. We'll go back in with our eraser. So I am going to just kind of smooth out this bottom section so that it meets up more nicely. Okay, then I'll grab my eraser tool and I will just kind of erase this little bit to kind of smooth it out. Like so. Okay, and then what we're going to try to do is that these should be pretty much identical on both sides. So what we're going to try to do is just go to our layer menu since this one's on a separate layer, slide to the left and hit duplicate so that we have another one. Click the arrow tool, click flip horizontal so it's facing the other way, and let's just drag it over here, keeping it in line with our original one. So that's where you'll see these 3 blue lines. That means it's perfectly lined up with our left one or with our right one. So just keep it in line and drag it on over until it lines up on our other side. So mine's just a little bit off. I'm just going to drag it back to the right a little bit. But go ahead and do any more adjusting if you need to. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. Okay, so then we'll go to our layer menu and snap all 3 of these layers together now so they're all on one layer, our whole pear shape so far. Click our arrow tool on uniform, downsize it just a little bit so that we have room for a stem on the top. Just a short stem is good. So just kind of roughly in the center of our red square here from left to right with a little bit more room on the top. We'll grab our brush again. Make sure your size is set back to like 65% of whatever you were using originally. And we will make our stem. So it's just like we did with our apple, we'll make a line going up and to the left a little bit, slight curve on it. Adjust it if you need to by clicking the arc button at the top. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and make a small straight line here and another curved line going back to the beginning. Okay, and that's all on one layer. I'm going to click the arrow tool again and just move it down a little bit. It's okay if it takes up a little bit more room from top to bottom because it takes up less room from left to right than our other shapes did. So it kind of evens it out visually. So that looks good. Okay, so then lastly, we will add the little teeny bit of just detail to it with our black. So we'll do like a nice curved line on the bottom here. Hold that down. Click to edit the arc at the top to kind of, again, like make it line up with our outside shape. So it kind of looks the same. Then maybe we'll do a dot at the end there. And then maybe another tiny curved line. I didn't even hold that one down, just kind of really quickly. Okay, that looks good for our pear. So now we will go ahead and start doing the color for it. So on our layer menu, for our pear outline layer, click on it and set it to a reference. Add a new layer, drag it below our pear layer, and now we will start coloring in. So these are our pear colors here, this last set of colors on the last row. So the first green color here, the 7th one in line, is our main pear color. So let's go ahead and drag and drop that onto the main shape. Grab our stem color, the last one on the last row. Fill in our stem there. So that's all the main colors. Now we'll just do highlights and details. So we'll go to our layer menu on this layer with our colors, click on it and set it to alpha lock. Then we'll grab our highlight color, so that's the third one in our group here, the 9th one on the last row. Same brush and everything, and we will just do our highlights. So we'll just kind of do like a nice curvy highlight on the top here like we do. Maybe a nice highlight on the right side. And a little one on the left side at the bottom as well. Okay, simple enough. Then we'll grab our dark green color to make some spots on our pear like a pear would have. So that's the second one in our group of colors. It's the 8th one in line on the last row. And we're just going to use the same brush and everything, and we're just going to kind of make some splotches of color. So I'm not like holding down my pen or anything. I'm just kind of working in a kind of just making some blobs of different shapes and sizes. Maybe like a little section there, maybe one kind of on its own. Maybe one over here just going off the edge in this space. I'm not going over where any of my highlights are. I'm leaving those as they are. Make kind of some weird shaped ones. Okay, that looks good for my pear. So we're on our last fruit, and that is our lemon, which will go in our bottom right square here. So same thing, go to our layer menu, add a new layer, switch back to our black color. We should still be at 65%, make sure that you are. And to draw our lemon, we are just going to draw a kind of sideways oval. So I'm just going to draw an oval shape, hold it down until it turns perfectly oval-like. Click edit at the top, and I might just make it a little thicker from top to bottom. And then it's just kind of tilted at an angle like so. And then just make sure you have room on the sides for our little like points at the end that the lemon will have. So about right here. Go to our layer menu, add a new layer right above this. Same black color, same pen. We're going to make the little pokies on a separate layer so that then we can erase what's on our oval layer to kind of intersect our shapes. So same brush, same color, same size. I'm going to go to the right side here, right on this top right end. Make a little pokey outie, hold it down until it turns perfectly straight. Click edit at the top and just kind of adjust it to be maybe a little flatter, but intersect our original lines nicely, like so. And then do the same thing on the bottom left side. So 2 lines, hold them down, adjust them a little if necessary, like so. So now it should look like this. Then we'll go back to our oval layer here, grab our eraser tool, same thing on the monoline brush at about 50% for our eraser. And we will just kind of go in here and just kind of erase this little bit in the middle, and then just try to make a nice seamless transition by following like the shape of our pointy side there in kind of a straight line, like so. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. You can even make a straight line with your eraser if that works better for you. So you can kind of start and kind of follow the line of your triangle shape, hold it down, and then you can adjust the eraser so you can move it left and right. You can click edit at the top and adjust both sides of it or move it around further. So see, like if I go too far, I see like the ends of my triangle. I don't want that. So just right here is good. So we'll do that again, draw a line, hold it down, move it right there so it intersects perfectly. And now we have our lemon exterior shape. So we'll go to our layer menu and snap these 2 layers together so that our pointies and our remaining bit of our oval are on the same layer. So then if you need to resize it at all, click the arrow tool. I might make mine a little bit bigger this time actually. But again, just kind of center it in our little square down here, right about there. Now I'm just going to add a few black details like we do. So I'm going to make like one long curved line right here, hold it down. Maybe another one on the bottom. With maybe 2 dots on the ends of that one. Like so. And that's it for our black. So now we're ready to start coloring in. So let's go to our layer menu. First of all, set our lemon outline to a reference layer, add a new layer, drag it below it, and this is what we'll color on. So now our lemon colors are just these 3 first colors on the second row. So our bright yellow is first. We'll go ahead and drag and drop that onto our lemon shape. Then that's it for the filling in. So then we'll go straight to our layer menu, click on this layer and turn on alpha lock. Grab the second color on the second row, which is our highlight color. So same size, same brush and everything. And we'll just add like a teeny little highlight to our ends, like the tops of them. We'll add a small highlight to the bottom here in like a curved motion. And then maybe we'll add another big highlight to this top area, kind of like we did on our apple, like the little almost stem shape. So like a curved line, hold that down. We'll do a straight line on this end. Hold that down. Carved line to connect them. Mine switched to a line, so I'll just click the line button at the top and it gives me the option for an arc. If yours doesn't, just redraw it. And then we'll fill that in just with our brush. Okay, then we are going to make some little dots all over with this third color on the second row, so our darker greenish yellow color. So this is going to be kind of like the speckles or, you know, the texture of our lemon. So we're going to use the same size, the 65% for our dots as well. And we are going to layer them with our highlight. So we haven't done that in the past, but we are going to do that now. Just because the highlight's there doesn't mean there wouldn't still be the texture there. And it works well for our lemon. So I'm just going to do this kind of all over. Like so. So that adds nice texture to our lemon. And that completes our drawing today. So I'm going to quickly turn off our symmetry line. We don't need to see that anymore. We probably could have turned that off earlier, but... So I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. Don't forget, if you want even more tutorials, you can find me on Patreon with some exclusive tutorials over there that are available to you. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see how it turned out. So go ahead and post it there and then tag me in it so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching.